Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and joining me. My name is Andrea Caprio. Welcome to my video today, where I want to share with you something that's really dear and near to me, helping you to overcome diabetes and blood sugar imbalances. Now, when I say diabetes, I mean diabetes, pre-diabetes as well, and of course anything related to blood sugar imbalances, insulin. Now know that this might affect you directly. It might affect somebody in your life, maybe a family member or so who struggles with diabetes or pre-diabetes. And by the way, when I say diabetes, I mean type 2 diabetes. There are different types of diabetes, and of course also important to know that there is blood sugar imbalances, insulin resistance or insulin imbalances as well, that can lead to other issues such as, for example, PCOS, such as Alzheimer, which often is called diabetes type 3, which is very similar, also a lifestyle related, like type 2 issue, or basis rather. Sorry, I have actually to stop this loud noise here, my air condition. So I want to talk to you about this today, how to help you, first of all, maneuver this area a little bit, but also help you, to go in the right direction in terms of helping you either to prevent or to even reverse diabetes type 2, which is possible in most cases, through a healthier lifestyle, through better eating, the right eating for you. And I want to share this with you. First of all, of course, I'm not a doctor. I'm not knowing you, so I'm not prescribing anything. This is purely educational, based on my knowledge. But before I get started here, I want to share a really exciting announcement with you, which will give you literally every answer you are looking for, and I will share this in the comments here. And basically that is a link to a free diabetes transformation summit. Now, my friend Beverly has really put together an amazing summit around diabetes, blood sugar issues, and anything related, diabetes type 2 again, related to it. She has invited, I think, over 40 different experts in the fields of health, diabetes, weight issues, and anything related, to have an interview with her, or to have rather a talk with her, an educational talk with her, sharing their expertise, their experience around that, and helping you to overcome diabetes or prevent diabetes. Now, I am very lucky that, or very proud actually, that I'm one of those speakers she invited and she interviewed, so you will hear me in that. The good news is I have a free ticket for you. Again, the link is here in the comments where you can sign up. And I really, really, really please ask you to sign up if you are interested, if that is interesting or relative to your health issues, but also share this please with people who might be needing this. Now, I have actually prepared a post recently, and there is the numbers are staggering of the people who have diabetes or pre-diabetic and don't know it actually. And it's really, it's super high. Literally 80% of people who are pre-diabetic do not know they're pre-diabetic, right? So chances are, there is, and the diabetic numbers are very high in the world and in America as well. So I definitely invite you please to share this with maybe a family member or a friend or so, so they can get the help. The Free Diabetes Transformation Summit is amazing. There are really good speakers. Some of them, by the way, have also I've seen they were with me on my summit recently, but that's really, really interesting, and she really is great in interviewing it and bringing this knowledge to people. And again, it's free. There are a lot of gifts there as well. You can also upgrade. There's a really great price, and then you get a lot of other things, up to you, but definitely check it out. Good. Now, for me to share with you in terms of diabetes and blood sugar, which often goes hand in hand, important is really that we want to prevent the insulin resistance that comes often with blood sugar, knowing that all this, by the way, related to hormonal issues. So you definitely want to be aware of that health or these health issues can be prevented and improved through changes in your nutrition and in your lifestyle habits. And I want to touch on the most important here today. My name is Andrea Caprio, in case you don't know, if you've maybe just dialed in a little bit later. By the way, feel free to ask any questions in the comments or maybe give me feedback in the comments as well, even if it's the replay, and welcome to those who are watching the replay. I will always obviously check and answer later on. Now, I am a Master Certified Transformational Nutrition Coach, and I specialize in weight loss and emotional eating, and with it in related health issues, which can be diabetes, right? Which can be some other like hormonal issues, thyroid issues or so, or maybe cardiovascular issues. But I have also a specialization actually in diabetes, besides in hormonal health, digestive health, and so on. So a lot of things. But I have actually, as I said, in diabetes, a specialization because I feel so many people have been affected by that. And that's really super important, of course, to help them, right? And that's why I'm here doing this video and sharing my expertise on it, or my ideas around there. So in terms of blood sugar, what I have found working with my clients is that most people are having too many carbohydrates. Now, those who are diabetic, who have been diagnosed, have often know that they should eat carbohydrates, or should eat less carbohydrates, and usually increase things like fiber and protein, but most people still don't get it right. And just know one thing, we all are a little bit different, so it really needs to be a personalized approach. What works for one person doesn't necessarily work for the other, and I've seen that often, that usually people, let's say with diabetes, are getting all the same meal plan, but it just doesn't work. One, a lot of people who got there through unhealthy eating. Usually they have maybe a food addiction or some cravings or emotional eating that led them to put on the weight, and as a result to diabetes. And when they have an issue with cravings, it's not that easy to just say, oh, but eat healthy, right? Eat the apple, or eat, the protein instead of eating the pasta, the pizza, or the ice cream, or whatever it is, right? So there is, of course, very often an emotional aspect there, or stress eating aspect, or whatever, that we need to address here, and that's very important. So, and that's why it's really important not just to kind of dish out just a meal plan that's for all. And unfortunately, in the industry, a lot of dietitians or nutritionists are doing that. They say, okay, you're diabetic, here's my diabetes meal plan. If it would be that easy, less people would have diabetes and would struggle with getting there when they're trying to get there, right? So that's really something very important, I think. And also, even if they would follow, it doesn't always work. Some people need maybe actually to cut out the meat they're eating and go vegetarian, whereas others, it's absolutely fine to increase protein and do that animal-based. Of course, it depends on your dietary preferences as well, and so on. So we have to look into all these. But as a general rule, what I found is that most people who are in this in that group of potentially either being diabetic or pre-diabetic, metabolic syndrome, overweight, all these things that can be linked together, is definitely that often these people are eating too much carbohydrates. And I see it with people who come see me. They think maybe, oh, I'm not doing so well, but in general, most people are eating too many carbohydrates, and as such, not enough protein. I see that very often. And protein is something that's really important in helping to balance hormones. It's important in digestive health. It's also very important in helping you with cravings. And when you have more protein, it affects your neurotransmitters in a positive way as well, which helps then with cravings and also feeling fuller, and it helps to balance your hormones hormones, which affects in a positive way, in that case, your satiety and your hunger hormones, right? And they all work together. So it's a bit complicated because all these are really tightly linked. And by reversing that slowly is actually how we overcome cravings. And then we start craving better food, right? And then we can eventually put in better habits that then lead to more better habits that help you to lose weight and then reverse diabetes, for example, or reverse the risk of diabetes as well. So these things are really going together. So when I work with my clients, we usually start on implementing more, or having them eat more protein, and also increase fiber. Many people don't have enough fiber. The standard American diet is low on fiber, under 10 gram a day. The ideal gram, and of course that depends a little bit on the person, but is 30 to 35 grams a day, can even be more, right? Again, depends on the person. And again, as I said, I'm not a doctor, so maybe you have a condition and you should avoid fiber. There are some digestive conditions that you would be careful to always double check with your doctor. But in general, most people eating too little fiber has then a negative effect on your overall digestive health, on your inflammation levels, on, of course, your hormones as well. And that can also be a big thing in, your weight issues and your blood sugar as well in diabetes. So protein and fiber are two of the biggest things I see with clients that help them. And when I work specifically with my diabetes clients, I really make sure, they also lower the carbohydrates, and always very important never to have the carbohydrates alone. So you want always to make sure you have the carbohydrates together with some protein and healthy fats, so they don't spike the blood sugar, which eventually could lead to an insulin resistance. So these things you want to make sure, and you want always to work, by the way, with if you're in that group, to work of course with a professional there who helps you to sort that out. Protein, fiber, very important. Not too many carbohydrates, some healthy fats, not overly, but some healthy fats are good. Be aware that things like, so they are healthier than the most carbohydrates, such as white flour, such as sugar. But for example, things like starchy vegetables or fruits still have a lot of sugar and can affect your blood sugar and as such your insulin response on that. So just be a little bit careful if that's the case. I have again a lot of people who say, yes, but I eat fruits and they're healthier than eating the sugar directly, or the pizza, the pasta, or whatever it is, or the bread, right? It's true, but fruit still have sugar. Starchy vegetable, like for example potatoes, even grains like for example rice, still has a lot of carbohydrates, which by your body is seen as glucose actually. So you might be careful with that, because in the end it all builds up. So that is really on the food side. So we are looking really to implement with our clients a food plan, laying it out, making sure there's a regular meal plan. So it's also important to eat regularly, balanced, so regularly and balanced together, breakfast, lunch, dinner, with maybe some snacks in between. Some people opt for fasting, and I'm all for intermittent fasting, great way, but you have to get right the hours. For example, and I believe, we all again are different, but for example, as a woman, I struggle with intermittent fasting. If it's too long, I can do shorter times, but as a woman, often too long times might not be the right thing. Men usually are a little bit better, but again, it depends on the person. So you need to get it right, and you can do intermittent fasting, for example, a 16-8, you can do a 10-14 or 14-10 or 12-12, right? And you need to get it right. For women, normally a shorter time is a little bit better. Oops, sorry, what's happening here? Okay, I think I'm still live. Sorry, my computer was just doing funny things here. So these are things also to be careful, but definitely when people are fasting too long or having maybe too long time in between the meals can lead to blood sugar imbalances, and that affects, of course, your insulin response and eventually can lead to insulin resistance or can affect it. So these are things you want also to look into, making sure you plan your meals out, you have regular meals, and they're balanced, of course. Now, the next thing is, of course, as well, other areas of your habits of your lifestyle habits, which you definitely want to look as well. First of all, exercise is of course important. You know that. So not only hard exercise like running or strength exercise, they are all important for your overall health. But for example, things like yoga, which are more the softer exercise that actually provide you more with a stress relief, would be something I would recommend. Often I see that stress plays a big role in illnesses like diabetes. It also plays a big role in hormonal imbalances and in weight issues. Sometimes too much of an exercise can be a bad thing. I have a couple of clients that struggle to understand it, and I get it, right? Because we are so, everybody says, oh yeah, do lots of exercises, and a lot of people thrive. But the thing is, exercise, if it's too much, and if it's too much for you, can mean too much stress for you, and then it affects your adrenals. Adrenals being linked, with the cortisol being linked to your hormonal system, can affect then the blood sugar and the insulin levels, and that can lead obviously to a whole lot of other issues that can also affect your satiety, your hunger hormones, your melatonin, and so on and so on. So you want to be careful with exercise. I would always say, a balanced program is important. And if stress is one of those issues you're having, maybe you want to add a little bit more yoga or maybe Pilates or so, or walks in the nature or so to balance a little bit. The next thing, speaking of, is sleep. Now, sleep has a big role in, and by the way, that's also in the Free Diabetes Transformation Summit. You can actually get really interesting books, ebooks. One, there are some recipes, and one is around sleep, actually. She speaks a lot, some of the speakers speak about sleep. Sleep is a big, big, big issue around weight issues, but also about diabetes. And they have done a very recent, or relatively recent study, and they're asking actually for people to participate in a study in the UK where they basically it's sleep and oxygen, right? So basically they put diabetes patients or people who are type 2 diabetes, they put them to sleep and they're deprive them of oxygen. Now, they're obviously not starving them completely, but those people are having less oxygen. And that leads to a different sleep. And that can, for example, they're doing that study at the moment, but it seems, it's promising that can help with diabetes. So these are things that are obviously going to be discussed in the summit. I don't know if necessarily the study here, I found it very interesting. But going back to sleep, sleep is something that's very important because, again, melatonin is the sleep hormone. If this is not working properly, maybe we sleep not enough, that can affect 1 hour weight. There are numerous studies that have sleep-deprived people and they put on more weight, but it also has a big influence on diabetes, actually, or rather on the blood sugar and the insulin. So sleep is something that's very important. So if you are not sleeping, you're ideally 8 to 9 hours, I would say, but at least 7 to 9 hours, then you would definitely want to work on that one. Sorry, something is tickling me. Now, sleep is one thing, we have the exercise, and the next thing is, of course, stress management, and that's big. A lot of people have stress issues around emotional eating, stress eating, which of course has the relation to weight issues and diabetes as a result. So you definitely want to address your stress as well if that's an issue. So, I mentioned yoga already, maybe meditation, maybe journaling, maybe you want, to look a little bit into your spirituality or so. So these are the ideas I'm working with my clients, helping them to improve. And this is something that you want to join the Free Diabetes Transformation Summit to get more tips on how to prevent or overcome diabetes or help anybody who in your life maybe, or as I said, please share the link, it's in the comments, to overcome. Of course, I am happy to help you as well if you are struggling with that, or maybe you want to prevent because diabetes runs in your family. Please feel free to contact me, and always happy to jump on a call. I just spoke with somebody earlier today. She was struggling with this, and helping you to get there. My name is Andrea Caprio. I love sharing more tips. So if you have any specific ideas, any help you needed, or please type that in the comments, let me know, and then I will always prepare a future video for you here so you can watch it and get more help. And of course, if you need personalized help, we can jump on a call and I can always go a little bit deeper. If you would like to work with me, I'm always happy to do so. Thank you so much, and be good. And now it's all about what is the one thing you can implement that we discussed today that helps you to improve your health. Write it in the comments. Thank you so much. Bye bye.